You've got it locked to New York's best talk radio, HTLA Radio 1, New York.
Yes, there you go. That was, I just love that theme. It just gets me all raring to go. Give me a bull mic. Get me out on the set. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever it may be to you. And you have tuned into HTLA Radio 1 New York and FiLM 101. Yes, you have. And, oh, man, we got a show for you today, of course. That's why you just heard the funky music, and now I'm talking. Yeah. Tonight, we are talking about, as promised, the Alexa. The Alexa 6.5K. The Alexa Monster. They're calling it the Alexa 65. Now, this is the world's first... Yes, world's first and only 65 millimeter digital sensor. Okay? Yeah, first one. And wow, it's got some amazing specs. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm not extremely like oh my god, I've got to have this camera, mate. No, I'm not. And there's some reasons. There's a bunch of reasons, and I'll tell you why. So we're going to be talking the Alexa 65 on this fine edition on this actually quite warm, still 70 degrees in Central Park. Light rain, but geez, who's complaining? Not me. We're going to be talking about that Alexa 65, of course, tonight. And yes, the big, fat, ugly girl that nobody wants to pick up, the Ursa. Yes, the Black Magic Ursa. And then, of course, with that, I just thought it'd be fun to do I think I'm going to do a yearly check-in of the AJA CION. I figure, having a show every year where we just do a little segment checking in on the CION that's going to be released. Now get this. It's going to be released September. I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. Their website actually still says the summer of 2014. That's right. Maybe that's why it's still 70 degrees in Central Park right now. I don't know. But yeah, we'll do our annual check-in on the CION 4K camera, see how that's coming along. So we will do that tonight. So there you go. 3 action-packed cameras, just full of fun and excitement. The 6.5 Alexa that I'm okay excited about, but not extremely. The lovely fat girl Ursa, and of course your favorite and mine, because we've shot with it so many times, the CION. Yes. Yeah, so that is going to be our show this evening. And I'm going to give you some links. Write them down and get on over to them. Check out some of the footage that's been released from some of these cameras I'm discussing this evening. And, look at them for yourself. Come up with your own opinions and views and proceed accordingly. But first up, we've got to go ahead and say that tonight's episode is...
Powered by Procast.
Thank you, Kate. This show also is partially brought to you by Tim Hortons New York City, now with 8 locations to serve you New Yorkers. Yeah. Yes, and I, as a Canadian, couldn't be happier. My God, Timmy's, I grew up with Timmy's. Timmy's was around me my whole life until I was 42 and decided, hey, I should move to the United States, man. It'd be cool there. Yeah, about that. No, that's a different show. Anywho, we are broadcasting live from New York City tonight, and yours truly has been here for 4.5 years, thereabouts now. And loving it. Love the city, and now it's even better because it has 8 Tim Hortons. That's right. So yes, Tim Hortons, thank you very much. Also, I'm going to do it. If you didn't catch the Hive Lighting episode last week, go ahead and check that out. You can check that out, of course, at HTLARadio1.com, the sexy new website we've got there. You can scroll all the way to the right. There's a little link there. Listen to the shows, a little pair of headphones hanging off a speaker. You just click that, and it'll take you out to the back alley. Trust me, you'll know it when you see it. And just scroll to the right on the back alley, and all the shows are on the right-hand side of the alley, just hanging out, having a cigarette, and looking cool. So go check those out. And definitely you want to check out the last Film 101, because I had a very special guest, one of the founders of Hive Lighting, and John Miller was with me last show, and we had a good little conversation about who Hive Lighting is, how they got started, and, of course, the amazing technology that they bring to any set with really, I'm going to say, next to no cost factor. You know, their prices are pretty much on par with a lot of today's LED systems. The lighting technology, in my opinion, again, not using the systems myself personally yet, just going over some of their video on their website and, reviewing the technology and the light information and the spectrum coverage and all that good stuff. And the fact that, unless you're shooting with a camera that shoots, something like 2.5 million frames a second, you're going to be okay for flicker. Yeah, really good products, guys. Get over there and check them out, hivelighting.com. And check out the show. It was a good conversation with John last week, too. So, also, I do have some deals in the works for some huge, yes, did I say huge? Huge cinematographers, huge directors. And no, these aren't, cinematographers and directors where I'll mention their name and you'll be like, who? No, these are big guns. These are folks well known everywhere in the production world. And considering Film 101 is production defined, I thought it might be prudent to start booking some caliber clients, and we've begun doing that at HTLA Corporate this last week, and we're working with several other agencies to bring you the best of the best, as only New York's best talk should be bringing you. So keep an eye out in the next couple of weeks for some huge heavy hitters. So let's get back to the Alexa, shall we? Recently, Ari unlocked the 3.2K acquisition ability on the Alexa, and now they are at the forefront of high resolutions with their latest announcement. For those of you for which Super 35 imagers are not enough to give you the highest quality and look, Ari are once again raising the bar in absolute image quality in digital cinema acquisition with their new Alexa 65. This is a 6.5K digital cinema camera with a sensor equivalent to 65mm 5-per film. The 65mm/70mm film format was used in epic classic Hollywood films such as Cleopatra, Patton, 2001: A Space Odyssey, Lawrence of Arabia, and many, many others. In addition, the 70mm format is what's used for IMAX, just to give you a little idea there. Oh, geez, big screen, Bob. Up until now, the 65mm look could be achieved only by shooting film. Okay, something the like of Tarantino or Nolan have been clinging on to like there's no tomorrow. But now Ari is once again bridging the digital equivalent to film, giving yet another reason for DPs worldwide to salivate over specs and new creative possibilities. It's a mighty if you haven't seen it, go Google it up and take a look. It's a pretty impressive looking camera. It is the form factor seems to be quite similar and indicative of the AJA CION, for example. It's quite squared off, pretty much typical for ARRI and the Alexa line. So if you're familiar with using them, this is pretty much no different. Weight's a little different. We'll get into that in a bit. OLED viewfinders, all the bells and whistles. I mean, it's a pretty robust system, gotta say. Well, Nolan and DP Wally Pfister especially have something to cry over in the next few weeks, as ARRI is set on putting the final nail in the coffin of celluloid. At least that's what ARRI claims. That no studio-backed saved Kodak film effort can preserve. ARRI beating film in its final stronghold. Large format acquisition is definitely going to hurt celluloid evangelists and the aforementioned few. Now Christopher Nolan's camera operators will no longer require emergency shoulder surgery after holding IMAX cameras, as ARRI is bringing IMAX quality in digital cinema in a very similar Alexa-like size and form factor. So, yeah. I don't know how many of you have humped around IMAX cameras on your shoulder, but those suckers is heavy, 50, 60 pounds. This is a little lighter. It is. Actually, it's quite a bit lighter. But it's the form factor, like I say, is nice. It's not something like, Ursa, for example. Because if it was, you'd be pulling out probably close to a 12 or 15 inch screen out of the side of that sucker for this format. But yeah, it's got a little weight to it, but not too bad. So let's kind of delve into the specs and features of this before we go into break here, because these are pretty cool. 65 millimeter digital cinema camera, A3X CMOS sensor, aperture equivalent to 5-perf 65 millimeter film. Resolution numbers are 6560 by 3102. Now, the 54, the sensor size, the active image area on the sensor is 54.12 millimeters by 25.58 millimeters. The sensor image diagonally is 59.87 millimeters. ARRI XPL mounts, 64 millimeter diameter. ISO settings are ranged from 200 to 3200, and the base ISO is, of course, 800. Dynamic range declaiming at 14 stops. LDS metadata, same accessories as the Alexa XT cameras, which could be pretty exciting for you Alexa XT guys out there, guys and girls. But I don't know how many of you would sort of cross into, large format filmmaking coming from an XT. Not sure. Electronic shutter. Would have liked to see global, Bob. I've got to say, the global shutter is quite exciting, but electronic shutter not so much. Yes. 5 degrees to 358 degrees, adjustable in 1/10 of a degree increments. Yes. Frames per second. Kind of interesting. Start out at 0.75 frames per second up to 27 frames per second. And you will be able to buy an upgrade to 60 FPS planned for early 2015. And I really hope that whoever is issuing the early 2015 release date here isn't the same person who issued the summer 2014 date for CION. I'm sure they're not, but you never know. Recording file format is uncompressed ARRI RAW. Yeah, nice. So you won't be having to completely overhaul your post process. Recorder modes: 5-perf 65mm full aperture 1.78 extraction. Recorder modes: 8-perf 35mm 24x36mm future upgrade. I'm assuming in the same planned early 2015, but I could be wrong. The storage type is Codex XR capture drive. Storage capacity, 480 gigabytes. You can also get an 860 megabyte per second data rate on those drives as well. Yeah, pretty smoking good. Storage recording time. This kind of reminds me of film canisters here. 11 minutes at 24 frames per second. Now the weight. Yes. Ding, ding, ding. In this corner, weighing in at 10.5 kilograms, 23.2 pounds, the Alexa 65. So 23.2 pounds. You figure you throw on your bars, your follow focus, your mat box, your extra batteries, your this, that, and that. You're probably still coming in under 33, 32, somewhere in there. It's not too bad. Power is 24 VDC. Yes. Interesting on the sensor comparison chart for 4K shooters. They put up a comparison chart that indicates a bunch of 4K cameras, and then, of course, the 65 that just, wow. It's like, remember going to the movie theaters and seeing that THX ad that they used to run in movies before, when they had the THX sound. That big noise would be off in the distance and it would come in closer and closer. And next thing you know, you and all your friends in all the theater seats are just rumbling around. And yeah, that was pretty awesome, wasn't it? Well, the sensor comparison here on this chart is pretty awesome too. It's just like that. It's just massive. It's awesome. Proper letterboxing. It's just it's awesome. It just is. Yeah. Now. Let's take a look at some of the cross sections across some other cameras that you may be familiar with, like my favorite, the Sony F65, of course. Now, it doesn't beat my F65. That's why I'm really like, okay, it's a cool camera, it's nice and everything else, but no, the 65 kind of owns it. Just about every way, shape, and form. But appreciate the effort, I guess is what I'm saying to Ari. What do you say? The resolutions, well, you're looking at 6560 by 3102 for the Alexa 65. You're looking at 8192 by 2160 for the Sony F65. Aspect ratios on the Alexa 65 is 2.11 to 1. And the Sony F65 is 1.89 to 1. I don't know. I mean, am I being too picky? Yeah, probably. It's not bad. It's not bad. But here's the other thing too. Tried looking for prices on this because, it's I guess comparative to between, to my way of thinking, between my F55, the 4K, it kind of is, to my thinking, it's kind of between the F55 and the F65. The F65 being the 8K digital cinema camera. What would I say to that? Well, the F55, basically $30,000 once taxes are all in and everything else. Then, of course, you got your accessories and stuff that you need and your matte boxes and your lens pack and everything else. Pretty much before you look at it, you're looking at $50K pretty easily. Not too much sweat at all. With mine, of course, I got the 6-pack of Sony lenses, $20,000, I think they were. For the 6-pack, and then another $1,000 for the plastic case. I don't know about you guys, but that always gets me. It's like, okay, you want $20,000? Well, $21,000. Let's be fair, it was $20,800. You want $20,000 for lenses, and then you want $1,000 for a plastic box with foam in it. Yeah, what? Okay. Yeah, no. I just went with the Pelican and got the cubes. Works like a charm. But yeah, so I'm kind of looking at the F55, the F65 realm. And I know, because I know the F65, you get the camera and you get the external recorder and some of the other bells and whistles that you really need with that system. You're pretty much looking at $100,000, right? throw some rods in, some nice follow focuses, some a nice, I don't know, I think on the F65 I'd be throwing on nothing but bright tangerine matte boxes because, no, they're not paying me to say that, but man, that is some smoking awesome gear. You want to check out brighttangerine.com if you're, looking at matte boxes that are lightweight, versatile, don't hang up, don't jam up, they're not pains in the asses to operate. They're top quality construction, only the finest materials, and I'm really talking like hand-laid carbon fiber, folks. They're like the absolute Cadillac or the Mercedes-Benz or whatever, pretty much the highest end to me for matte boxes. So check out Bright Tangerine, definitely. But, I think on a $100,000 plus camera, I'd be throwing on some Bright Tangerine. So you got that stuff. And okay, let's go nuts and say $120,000. We'll throw it all together. Maybe get some extra drives or something. Woohoo, $120K. Basically $55K for my F55. So, yeah, okay. So what are we looking at for the Alexis 65? I'm kind of shooting in my head, thinking around, well, probably $65,000 to maybe 80, for suggested retail price. I'm thinking in that region for that technology and everything that it can do. Yeah, I think 65 to 80 grand is fair. No, and you're going to be kind of. You're going to be ticked when I tell you this because you can't buy them. No, you can't buy them.
Hey, what the hell are we supposed to use, man? Harsh language?
Well, I don't know, but you can't buy them.
Everybody knows you never go full retard.
I know this. I absolutely know this, but that's just the way it is. You can only rent the sucker.
No problemo.
All right, Arnie. Yeah, which I hate that. Damn it. That's what I've always hated about Panavision too. Lease, rent. What is all this crap? Just let me give you $4 million for the damn camera and let me take it home. Well, the Alexa 65's body is a bit wider than the Alexa XT. It is. Not too much. It's not huge. It's not anywhere near as fat as the Ursa. Did I say that? Yes, I did. Anywho, we're going to go for our first commercial break here. When we come back, I'll get into the Alexa's functionality. Yeah, let's do, I don't know, functionality. We'll be back in 2, gang.
And you're listening to HTLA Radio 1 New York.
So do you guys think being fast is better than being slow?
Yes! It's better to be fast, to not be bitten by a werewolf, and then you'll be turned into one, and you'll have to stay in, and then you'll have to get shade because you'll be too hot, and then you're like, which means I wish I was back to a human.
What?
It's not complicated. Faster is better. And AT&T is the nation's fastest 4G LTE network for your iPhone 5.
The world is facing one of the biggest crises in the history of history. Girls are getting hotter and hotter. This is causing guys to lose their cool. It's happening everywhere. That's why the people at Axe have developed the new Axe Chill Collection. It helps guys keep their cool before it's too late. Girls are getting hotter. Keep your cool with the new Chill Collection from Axe.
You walked into the hotel as a 5. But when she saw the room, you turned into a weird 7. When she saw the rooftop pool, you went to 11. You two should probably get a room. Oh, that's right. You already did. At Planet Earth's #1 accommodation site, Booking.com. Booking.yeah.
glasses, White Rum has a new captain. Introducing the all-new Captain Morgan White Rum, 5 times distilled for a smoother taste.
And we are back with HTLA's Film 101 Production Defined on HTLARadio1.com, New York's best talk. Oh, too loud, man, too loud. That's right, you heard the man, that incredibly sexy voice guy there. We are Film 101 Production Defined, and I am your host, Christopher John Taylor, and tonight we're talking cameras, Alexa 65, the big girl Ursa, and we'll do our annual CION 4K cinema camera check-in. That's funny. If their products weren't so darn good, I'd never, ever use them. No, they made me mad. Yeah, and I did a show on that, too, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, when the end of the summer happened. Yes, I did. Yes, check that out at HTLARadio1, the number 1.com. Now, let's talk the Alexa 65. Yeah, where were we? I believe I was telling you about Alexa's body. Oh, yes. She's a little wider than the Alexa XT, partially due to the larger sensor, I would suspect. However, the ergonomics are kept overall the same. Of course, the larger sensor would necessitate the use of lenses capable of covering the large sensor. Oh, yeah, there we go. Got to buy some new lenses now. The lens package, for starters, that they will sell along with the camera, how nice of them, is an 8-piece set of primes and 1 zoom lens, originally made by Fujinon for the Hasselblad H5D. These lenses were then rehoused and redesigned by ARRI to fit the larger PL mount and rigors of high-end cinema production. These lenses come in assorted flavors in the kit. There's a 24mm, a 28mm. There is a 50mm, an 80mm, a 100mm. Oh, and I do have to add a 35mm in there between the 28 and the 50. They do have a 35 in the kit. They also have a 300mm. It's quite the big, sexy lens, gotta say. And then, of course, the Fujinon Zoom is a 50 to 110. That's the Zoom. All manual. They're not going the CION route with their motorized Fujinon lens. Still not out. No. No, this is a fully manual, 50 to 110. And, yeah, good, sexy-looking stuff. It's kind of actually very similar in look to the Sony cinema lenses, the Cine Alta lenses that I got with the F55. But these have just kind of a little bit more of a rugged look to them. You know, their focus and iris rings a little bit more robust, and their overall shape from the mount flange right to the end flange is more straight and not as tapered. You know, less mountain looking, more tube looking. These ones are. But still, very nice set of lenses. Very nice indeed. And, yeah, no word, actually, on if you can buy those lenses. I would assume you could, but then you'd maybe not. You know, you'd kind of be stuck with a bunch of 65mm lenses for the camera you can only rent. So, yeah, maybe you can't. Dealers, somebody email me, let me know. Yeah. So at the moment, the ARRI Alexa 65 is a rental-only option and available from ARRI Rentals. Yeah. Now, you might want to check out the fdtimes.com, because those guys have, of course, a more full, robust write-up about the camera, if you're looking at any more detail than I've given here. But, yeah. And no footage yet that I've seen anywhere. I've looked. Trust me. But, you know, it's got to be stunning. You know, it just has to be, even if it's an absolute... If you had an old Kodak Easy Share lens that you you pulled out of one of those first digital cameras 10 or 12 years ago and slapped that on the front of this thing, I'm sure it would look awesome because, well, no, it wouldn't cover the sensor, but you know what I mean. You could put a Coke bottle in front of it, and I'm sure everything you shot would be very impressive at this form factor, and if it didn't, you could just scale it down to that tiny little 4K, and it would look incredible. Or 2K or HD, whatever your flavor. So that's the exciting, not so exciting, Alexa 65. And, for all its bells and whistles and everything, I think the next step in the camera purchase for me would, even if this was available for sale, I think would still have to be the F65 from Sony. I guess, yeah. See, there's a number of factors. There really is. But I'm a Sony whore. What can I say? There's nothing else to say. Chris is a Sony whore. There we go.
Sound good? Yes, sir!
There you go.
Everybody knows you never go full retard.
I know.
Never go full retard.
I got it. There you go. So that's the Alexa 65 millimeters reborn is their tagline for that baby. And, so if you ever get a chance to shoot with it, hey, drop me a line. Let me know what it was like, because it looks like it would be a nice system to work on. Really does. All the RE Alexa stuff, yeah, it's nice to work on. So I'm thinking this one would be no different. But it would be good to get some firsthand information, as always, and pass it along to you, the Film 101 listener. Absolutely. Now, the fat girl that nobody wants to pick up. That's our next segment of Film 101 tonight. Yes. The Black Magic Ursa. 4K footage. Yep. There's 4K footage now. They've released it. And got to tell you, truthfully, honestly, looks pretty exciting. I like it. I really do. But I can't get the visions out of my head. And, I don't know. I'm sure most of my listeners have seen Philip Bloom. I'm sure you're all aware who he is. And I think that I would be safe in assuming that you've probably seen his first impressions of the Blackmagic Ursa. And when he was at IBC recently in September, giving some keynotes there, he did a walk around to the floor on one of the days, and they shot some video and threw it up on YouTube of him picking up the Blackmagic Ursa for the first time. Initial impressions on this man's face is what makes me know in a split second that this camera is not for me and it's not for most. Yes. He being Philip Bloom, I've always admired his reviews on equipment because he has the 25-odd years experience doing it. He knows what he's talking about from many perspectives, including the creative filmmaker-y side, but also in the real world, pick this thing up every day and work with it side. And the look on his face when he grabbed that handle and picked it up off the table, you could tell just by the look on his face that this camera is just too heavy to be working with day in and day out. So that's the first kind of thing. It kind of scared me. And then, of course, when he gets it up on his shoulder, yeah, the pained expression on his face as he's trying to open up this 10.1-inch monitor and not hit himself in the head with it, and try and shoulder mount work with it with this 10-inch monitor, no more than 3 inches away from his nose. And the menu system, yeah, it was just awkward and nasty. And, I could just tell from looking at that video alone that this is not a camera I want to work with. That being said, I also do like the way it looks. It's got a nice look to it. And their whole idea about, the DP working on one side of the camera and the sound guy working on the other side of the camera and the focus puller working on this side of the camera and that's okay, I guess, but there's not too many film sets I've been on, and I've been on a hell of a lot of film sets where the camera has these nicely taped out, isolated positions for the sound guy and the focus puller and the DP and the camera operator and the director, and no, sorry. I think you could find this thing almost usable if you threw it on a nice big robust tripod that can handle her weight and just did studio tripod work with it all day and night and next day and stuff. Handheld run and gun ENG, absolutely not. You'd be retarded. Taking this thing and doing an actual independent film with it, you'd still be retarded. You might do your film, but man, why would you want to do that to your poor crew who are working for cookies and donuts? That's not nice. Yeah. So, while it's got some cool stuff, it's no. Well, back in August, actually, we saw the first official footage from the Blackmagic Ursa that was shot by John Brawley. And then earlier in September, we had another Ursa 4K sample footage that was released, shot by Captain Hook. Now we're treated with yet another 4K Ursa footage clip, this time by very happy owner, New York City DP and director, it must be the New York coming out in this Canadian boy, DP and director, thank you, Guy Florida. Now, Guy says, I was lucky enough to get one of the first Blackmagic Ursas, and I spent some time testing it over the weekend in Brooklyn and Manhattan. All the footage I shot is 4K 60p ProRes HQ, conformed to 24p. Most of the stuff is shot at 400 ASA, with a few shots I pushed down to 200. I wanted to see what I could get away with in challenging lighting, and the camera held up really well. His shutter angle was at 180 degrees, with the exception of the skate park stuff that he shot, which was at 90. He only used 3 lenses, a Canon 16 to 35mm 2.8L lens, a Canon 70 to 200mm 2.L lens, image stabilization, and a Zeiss 50 2.0 macro planar lens. And filters, he used a Schneider ND6 lens for a few shots, he says, and Schneider Hollywood Blackmagic 1/4. He also shared some pre-grade shots from the New York City footage that he shot with his Blackmagic Ursa, and you can check those out via 4kshooters.net. Also Vimeo. Yeah. Now, all of what I said about this camera being said, it's kind of funny because the whole Blackmagic product line, I kind of feel this way about. Now, the 2.5K production camera, yeah, I've never, ever liked working on this thing, especially outdoors. You might as well not work on it outdoors, but the majority of stuff I've done with it has been indoors. Same with the 4K production camera from Blackmagic. And, I liked the form factor, and I thought it was really cool that they were putting this out for like $2,900. And, there was a lot of cool things about it, but man, so many heartaches, headaches, butt aches that you have to deal with their menu system and waiting 17 years and growing a beard and dying, just being a long-bearded skeleton in your chair waiting for firmware releases that'll actually make it somewhat usable as a production camera. Yeah, kind of like the long-bearded skeleton I turned into waiting for the CION. Yes. Well, to move on, at the same time, I believe at NAB 2014, when they, did the announcement for Ursa. No, it was before that, you dumbass. They also announced, in addition to that, their studio cameras, which I don't know why they call them studio cameras. Maybe if they're going to be specific, call them television school studio cameras or television cameras, because they're kind of a bigger version of the smaller 4K and 2.5K production cameras that have been out for a number of years. But they're big, and they've got like I think maybe the 10.1-inch screen that they've got on the side of the Ursa here, I think they've got in the back of these things. And they've got them, with the sunshades and everything built in. And those actually, I got to say, they look like they would be very well received in the TV world. They look like, and from the specs and from, what I've learned about the technology behind them and the workability of them, would be very good for live television broadcasts, news broadcasts, reality shows, maybe not so much. But certainly they do have a place in the studio news business, I think. They're very cool. And again, I like their design. I'm not going to say anything bad about the design. Ursa just is not the one for me, or I think indeed most who do production on a daily basis and have to work with these things. And you make an $8,000 to $10,000 decision on your production camera, and this is what you get. Yeah, you're in for a lot of problems, But that's the Blackmagic dealio. You kind of always have been in for a lot of problems with them. Referring back to Philip Bloom, something he said about them once stuck with me. It was when he was doing the 4K production camera review when it first came out. He was down at Brighton Beach doing his usual Brighton Beach thing. And, one of the first things that he said about navigating the menu was that it was very clunky. And that kind of turned me off right there, because I as soon as he said that adjective, I was like, yeah, no. Same as the 2.5, and no, we don't want to deal with that again. So yeah, there you go. So Blackmagic, hats off to them. Great guys, great company. They try. That's sort of the way I've always looked at them. They try, and But the one thing that I will never say bad about them is their footage. And for all the handstands and tilt-a-whirls you got to ride and everything else to actually use the camera and make something, the end product of made something is pretty stellar. Their image quality has always been very impressive, which kind of leads me up to the CION, because everybody and their uncle is saying that CION is using the same sensor as the Blackmagic. Oh, we'll get into that fun and so much more when we come back from this final commercial break. Be right back, gang.
We are HTLA Radio 1. You will lower your shields and prepare to be boarded. We will add to your distinctiveness, your advertisers, and your sponsors to our own. Resistance is futile.
Have I got a treat for you? New clean whipped cream foundation from CoverGirl. A delicious new recipe whipped up by Clean Makeup. They took their clean, fresh foundation, added a dash of hydration, then whipped it to smooth, matte perfection. Finally, a non-drying whip that wears like a dream. What a treat from Clean. New clean whipped cream from easy, breezy, beautiful CoverGirl.
Fourth down, Coach. What do we do?
I'll tell you what we do. I want you to go on the field. Look for anyone with an O.
Let's kill them!
With kindness. Jimmy, I want you to make balloon animals. Tyler, make little tea cozy. Something fun.
Are you okay? We will win this for Mother Russia!
Coach, eat a Snickers.
Why is that, Chief?
You get a little loopy when you're hungry. Better?
Better.
Now let's go for it!
Go get him, guys!
You're not you when you're hungry. Snickers satisfies.
I always said shoes are like women. They inspire beautiful music.
But what about these?
Stilettos sound like this.
What does my fragrance inspire?
That's got soul.
Mai Tais are beautiful. They don't need music.
Bringing the stars together. That's the magic of Macy's.
I live for the applause, applause, applause. I live for the applause, applause, live for the applause, applause, live for the way that you chill and scream for me. The applause, applause.
Just Dance 2014. Stay in, go all out.
And we are back with HTLA's Film 101 Production Defined on HTLARadio1.com, New York's best talk. Ah, God, that announcer guy is sexy, isn't he? Isn't he? Come on.
Everybody knows you never go full retard. Never go full retard.
Okay.
Remember those sweet, warm New England summers?
Oh, yeah. Who doesn't? Well, we are back, and you are listening to HTLA's Film 101, Production Defined. And tonight's show, we've been talking for the last 40-odd minutes or so about the fine Alexa 65mm digital cinema camera, the exciting, not-so-exciting new release from Ari. And we've been discussing Ursa and her full-body presence, I guess. No. I don't know. I'm on crack. What do I know? Yeah. But, gotta say, the footage that guy did is absolutely, well, yeah, stunning. It is. You can check it out on Vimeo if you just look for Guy Florida. Do a search there, and you'll see his uploads there. He says, I'm not a reviewer, and I don't usually ever do stuff like this, but no one else has posted anything. If you're like I was before I got the Ursa, you would take info you could get from any idiot out there. I guess that's why you guys listen to my show. Never mind. I got the Ursa. You would take... I got the Ursa, and here's the footage. Just a quick color correct using Hook's basic LUT. Thanks to Hook. And the video is 4 minutes, 20 seconds, and really some beautiful stuff there. Definitely workable. Again, I've got to say it. It's just like the 4K production camera when it came out and the 2.5 camera when it came out. I was like, yeah, that's workable. That's doable. And the end product that it gives you, everything that Blackmagic gives you in terms of end product for your deliverables, got to say it's top notch. It's it's everything it should be, and their price points are hella awesome. But again, it's just the design and the working with them that is the total downfall, in my opinion. So be sure to get over to Vimeo there. Check out that sexy Ursa footage that he shot, because it's 4 minutes 20 seconds of pure bliss. I'm telling you, it's really nice and well done too. So there it is, the Ursa. Now it's time for us to do our annual CION 4K cinema camera check-in. I should have some music here for this. What would be appropriate? Ah, yes, man. Welcome to the island, man. Today we check out with the CION 4K cinema camera. Ah, yes, it's happy. It is. And right now, we should all be having our CIONs and going out and happily shooting the beach, man. Or happily shooting that next thriller or horror movie. Yeah, Irie. But of course, we're not. Turn that damn stuff off. No, we're not. And you know why we're not? Because it isn't out yet. And then you got to ask yourself, geez, is it ever coming out? And you know what? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I'm your man in the street, and I'm completely freaking lost. There's not a peep on the AJA website. There's no new news anywhere. Oh, actually, that's not true. 2 days ago, a web page by the name of Red Dragon, wonder if it's any relation, they came out with an article. I caught this on Twitter, and the article was, oh, yeah, so you're ready for CION. Well, your wait is over. And I looked at that, and I'm like, thank God. Oh, my God. Oh, God. Thank you. I said God more times in 60 seconds than I have in my entire life because I don't believe in him. But wow. Oh, God. It's finally okay. I click on that sucker and I go on over to Red Dragon and I start to read and I'm reading and paragraph after paragraph I'm going down and reading and it's all the same information that we've read for the last 8 months. They didn't have one iota of new information. Nope. And you can count on me. You can trust me. Right now, I will make a pledge to all of my listeners to Film 101 as soon as this camera ever gets out on the shelves anywhere. I don't care if it's in Uzbekistan and if they're selling it used for $4 because it's 2073. You come back here and there will be, oh yes, I swear to you this, my liege, there will be an announcement. I will get it out on my Twitter, on my Facebook. I will get it out. I will shout it from the rooftops. I'll have it on my blog. I will have it on the HTLARadio1.com website. I will have it at Film 101's website. I will, every episode I'll be like, hey, so did you check out the new CION yet? Isn't it great? Yeah, because we're all that excited for this camera, aren't we? Because it can do some things that no other camera can do without a prescription. That's right. Oh, yes. And for under $10,000, yeah, we're lining up. We're there. We're waiting. Anyway, this entire article at Red Dragon contained nothing new. Nothing that, in fact, there was no new information in that entire article that wasn't out 6 or 7 months ago. Nothing. Not one little tidbit of info, nothing new. So I looked at that and I'm like, well, you evil bastards. How can you do that to us? And for once, it's not, AJA doing it to us. No, it's some third-party idiot somewhere out there with a website, and he wrote this article of absolute nothing. So yeah, it's still not out yet. And we're, oh geez, look at that, October 17th. So, be sure to tune in to Film 101 October 17th in 2015 when we'll have our latest annual CION 4K cinema camera update. Because as of today, no idea. The AJA CION 4K cinema camera group on Facebook, facebook.com/CION4K. You can go check that out. That seems to be a fairly busy site. There's tens of thousands of people sitting here going, where is it? And did I mention where is it? And no information coming out of there either. In fact, their last post, if I look at it here, 22nd of September. So pretty much a month ago, give or take 4 days. It says, today marks the official end of summer 2014. What are your thoughts on the CION, the release, the video, and the wait? And of course, I responded in order: awesome, sick of waiting, beautiful, and it sucks. Yeah, there's a ton of other people, 873 people reached, and a bunch of more comments there, and somebody even mentioning the PXW FS7 from Sony. Yeah. As a little bonus here on Film 101 tonight, Production Defined, I do have, 4 or 5 minutes here to go. So let's talk about that PXW FS7 for a moment, shall we? I had a brief piece on it on Film 101 about 3 weeks ago when it actually came out. It kind of surprised the release there, 3 or 4 days before there was this mysterious picture that came out of Hong Kong. A couple of gentlemen around this partial picture of the FS7 that we now know. Strange looking little camera, not completely horrible, but also not completely stunning either. Kind of reminded me of one of the Canon XL1s or the Canon XL HD one. Those are some sweet pieces of kit. If you ever get your chance to work with one of those are not too bad. But it's kind of got that sort of rounded rear end. Kind of, yeah. It just doesn't have that up angle at the back that the Canon XL series has. But yeah, it's all right, and it's 4K, and it's under $10,000, and it's basically they're calling it the answer to the Blackmagic Ursa and the AJA CION 4K. Of course, they don't have to worry about the CION as competition; it's not out. But I'm not bitter. No. Yeah. So there it is. No idea. No new information. No release date. There's some word going around that people like Adorama Camera are taking pre-orders. However, I can't get confirmation on that from Adorama Camera, and there's no actual date as to when those pre-orders will be able to be fulfilled. So no release date. I've talked to everybody I can talk to. I've bribed my way in and out and backwards. Nobody's talking. And, I've even gone and contacted them directly. I have. Yeah. One thing you can't never say about me is I don't got some balls. Nope. No, I went and contacted them. Actually, I contacted the man. Yes, the man himself, Mr. Bryce Button from AJA. And, I basically laid it down to him. I said, hey, what's going on, little man? Yeah. He's a very happy chap. Yes, he is. But all he has said to me about it, and all that he is going to say about it, it appears to anybody, yes, is that all the camera is wonderful. It's on track, and we're very excited. And yes, we will send you any news or information that we have immediately once we have it. Yeah. So, yeah. One thing he did say to me, though, which was kind of I thought at the time, this was back in July, he said that he will keep me in the loop as August progresses. Period. Yours, Bryce. That's what he said. I have it right here in an email. I will keep you in the loop as August progresses. Bryce. Bryce, it's October now. If this is your idea of keeping me in the loop, it's 3 months later. Just saying. But no, gang, don't get me wrong. I'm not bitter. Because like Blackmagic, AJA puts out premium top quality products now, don't they? Absolutely. So, with that, gang, I am going to be rolling along. Yes, I am. I'm rolling along. I'd like to thank you for tuning in tonight on Film 101, Production Defined. I'd like you to tune in next week. I can't make any firm announcements right yet. Don't have the sign on the dotted line yet, but very soon, very top-notch guests coming to Film 101, so stay tuned for that. Thank you to HTLA Radio 1 for having me. And, New York and the rest of the world, good night.
HTLA Radio 1. You will lower your shields and prepare to be boarded. We will add your distinctiveness, your advertisers, and your sponsors to our own. Resistance is futile.